regular guy, and here's my regular cat. And here he is. Here's my regular cat. You like my regular cat? You like my regular cat? Arthur, do you want to talk to the people? How's that? Does that look good? Say something. Tell them something. Tell them something. Say something. Okay. Okay. He's a good guy. Real good guy. Takes a pet, no problem. Alrighty. You really said meow? It's true. All right, everybody. Welcome back. That was a fun time at the bathhouse. I liked that. I thought it was good. I thought it was very scary. It was very it was definitely very jump scary. Though also the feeling of being like alone in the bathhouse was very unsettling and great. Okay, I'll go kiss the boy. Hold on. Regular. Okay, so I guess I'm keeping this on probably just because it's funny. I mean, this is a nice still, the television with the. This will be for your memes. I don't know what you want for the memes, but. Like. That good? You got something good for that? Is that good? Okay. Well, also, I would like to thank Lucy for contributing to the binaural microphones. That's a really, really cool idea. We do have the throne on there. And if we, yeah, I'm crowdfunding. That's kind of the next thing that would be fantastic to get is we are crowdfunding a fancy binaural microphone thing so I can do some really it, really exciting ASMR stuff, which I think would be very fun. I don't have the ASMR thing. I don't get tingles, but I do like audio, and I like sound design, and I like music, and I like making things that sound nice, and I do love some stereo imaging. So this thing would be actually really fun. So thank you very much, Lucy, for contributing towards that. Al, thank you so much for being here. Go GL with the work. Um so here we go. So we have to move on to the next game. And the next game is going to be Fears to Fathom Episode 1. This is apparently a 1 hour long game. Oh man, I don't know what I'm doing. I hope you enjoy this spook a lot. Hope that you enjoy this spook a lot, y'all. This is a lot, to be honest. I do want to do marbles, but is this we'll have time for marble. If I do this, then we'll have time for a little bit of marbles as well, right? I think so. Let's hope so. Well, once we get into marbles, then we're gone. But oh, interesting, Sharice. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna definitely just do the first one because it's the only one I have downloaded. Sorry, I haven't checked the I can't touch my phone. I can't do the touch screen with my phone, so I haven't checked Discord on the computer either, so let's see here. I want to click on that. Okay. Yeah, I think we'll just do the first step and then everything will be cool. Give me 1 second here. Bingus, what are you looking at? Fuck? I think there's some fears to fathom in here. And I have to remember to fucking add the audio from the game. It doesn't do that automatically for some reason. Yikes. Okay, now you can hear that, right? You can hear that. Now you can hear that. Now you can hear that. There's something spooky in here? Oh, I guess I do have all of them. Okay, but episode 1 is what I have right now. And that's what we're gonna be playing. We're gonna be playing episode 1. We're gonna play episode 1, Home Alone. And then after that, then we're going to play episode Marbles. So here we go. Let's fathom. What can you fathom, chat? What are your what kind of fears? Oh. Wow. Wow. Okay. Reddit. Making reference to Reddit already. This whiskey is really helping. If you ever play the bathhouse and it spooks you, I recommend having a little famous grouse right after. Okay, it's the middle of summer. My parents had left me the weekend for a work trip. I was all by myself for the weekend. Also, I feel like I do have to mention my sleep schedule is really messed up around this time. I would sleep and get about just any time of day. I did not plan on fixing that. Arthur, what are you looking at? Woke up around 8 after a nap that evening. Used to get up. Oh, this is spooky. This is very spooky. Gotcha. Okay, we're gonna be back. Let's see. Okay, so wait, when are you guys gonna be back? Dad and I are gonna be back by Monday, honey. Didn't I tell you that yesterday? Cool. Take care, honey. Sleep on time. I hope you'll get the Xbox like you promised. I mean, if you get that discount, can I invite Mason and Josh over for the night for homework? Of course you can. Call me if you need anything. Make sure to check. It's them on the door before opening it, though. Check through the blinds. Take care, honey. Sure thing, Mom. Dad and I may be back Sunday evening. Why are you being so paranoid, Mom? I'm 14. I think I'm going to take a little nap. Probably going to order some pizza. Check the fridge. There's lasagna. Lasagna. Like Garfield. Garfield loves lasagna. Oh. Food was heating up. Okay, got a C to crouch. The oven bings like that? That's nice. Okay. Food is warm. What am I missing?
Go for it. You guys can
Thank you
do
for the
it.
encouragement. All right, what am I doing wrong? I'm trying to. The food's warm. I'm supposed to eat this lasagna, but I can't figure out how to eat the lasagna. Didn't have any dishes to wash. Where am I supposed to put my lasagna? These are real life stories? This is a real thing that happened? Why would I eat it somewhere else? Alright, hold on, I gotta turn down this lamp a little bit. Should I eat it in the swimming pool? Passion, do you know, you already did this, Passion, right? You already did this? What am I doing wrong? What did I miss? Where am I supposed to eat this lasagna? Can you help me? Can you walk through this with me? Go sit down and watch TV, girl. Okay, thank you. Should I throw the lasagna? Okay, I can throw the lasagna. I liked watching TV while I ate. Well, you could have told me that. Could have told me that. Okay. What am I watching? Wow, I'm really chewing on that lasagna. Like crunching on that stuff. Already feeling sleepy after eating the food. And because I'm 14 and because I don't know any better, I'm just like, whatever, fuck it. Oh. How do I, okay. Oh shit, my friends bailed on me. Yo, you coming to Jessica's tomorrow? I don't know. She didn't show up, it's like I don't even matter to her, whoa. Uh-huh. Alright. What did I miss? What did I miss? What did I miss? What did I miss? /Jen. What? What? I miss? I want to play Mario Kart with my friends. What? G throw? G what? Throw what? Yeah, it feels like someone's watching me. It feels like, you know, a couple hundred people are watching me, okay? Hell. Alright. I'm so sleepy, I gotta get up these stairs right away. Whoa. What the fuck? How does it know my name? God damn it. Fuck you. Fucking spooky game. Thank you for coming to my channel. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for all the gift subs. Thank you for the thank you for tooting. Thank you. Why did it say Miles? Why does it know my name? I gotta go. Homework was done. I was off to bed. Okay. This isn't my bed. That's not my bed, so it's not real. That's okay. That's not my bed. Not my bed. Okay, 1:16 a.m. I'm gonna get some water. Can't really see in the dark. What are the sounds? What's music and what's happening in real life? What's happening? Why is the soundtrack so scary? I see. Turn on a light. Where's the lights? Stop. Where's the lights? I didn't turn that on. Where's the sink? Oh, there it is. Okay. Well, where's the cup? Uh. I'll just keep the door closed, that's fine. Okay. Oh, that's how we're doing this? Please, you need to not drink bottled water. Go sip, girl. Mom, why are you sending me a text message of the what? What? Why am I hiding under the bed? Why is my mom across the street? She sent me a photo of someone standing at the front door. Why is she across the street? Why is she taking that photo? Paula sent me, said he's been creeping through that we're calling cops. You kids lock every door and hide in your don't answer the door no matter what he does. What? Okay, there's a guy. There's a guy, he's trying to scare me. From the neighbor. I'm just gonna hide. I mean, what did this say? Paula sent me, she said he's been creeping through the... We're calling the cops. You kids lock every door and hide in your... Don't answer the door no matter what he does. I mean... Is it not locked already? Should I hide? Oh my god.
Oh, now I'm not joking, bitch.
Thank you for that, I'm not joking. It's Paula at the door? Oh god. Why can't I run? The fuck? And it just quits my game? Is that normal? And it just quits my game. Do I start the game again? Or do we play marbles? I don't understand how this works. Was that supposed to crash like that? Was it supposed to crash like that? I'm sorry, so I just like... Okay. 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 I wake up. Speed run. Is there no way to run? God damn it. Okay, check the fridge. I got lasagna. Who wants some more lasagna? Can I kill the guy and teabag him? Do that. Who wants the lasagna? I'm not scared. I'm not worried. This is fine. This is fine. This is normal. It's normal. It was nice and hot. I liked watching TV while I ate. Okay. Here we go. It's time to chew. It's time to eat. Oops. The crash was random watching someone play another game from the series. When the game goes to the menu, it uses 1,000 of the GPU. There's shutters for crashes. Wow. Okie dokie. Oh my god, someone just walked up the stairs. I saw that. Alright, my friends aren't my real friends. No one loves me. I get it. Okay. Why does it say Miles? Why does it know that that's my name? I really don't like that it knows my name. Oh my god. Alright. I'm doing my homework. Whatever, I'm not scared. I'm not scared. I'm not scared. I really doesn't like it. It really doesn't like it at all. I don't like it. Mom, what's up? I shouldn't get to hear from Mrs. Paula this time. I think my heart rate monitor stopped working. That's too regular. Should be moving around more. I can't use my phone. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna take it off for now. I don't believe that that's accurate. Okay. Right, I got up to get some water. Yeah, it's not me. Yeah, I don't know who that is at the door. It's fine. This is fine. It's hiding under my bed. I'm just gonna hide. I'm just gonna stay here. I'm just not gonna move. I'm just gonna stay here. What do I need to throw the water bottle? What am I supposed to do here, chat? What am I supposed to do? I'm hiding. No matter what he does, don't go down, don't answer the door. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Why am I moving so slowly? Come on. Like, I don't, what's, chat? Did I miss something? Game's not advancing. Game's not advancing. Egg. Normal guy. Palapa, yeah, I mean, is there something I need to do to advance the game here? I feel like I'm just, like, there's something that the game wants me to do. Or no. Well, yeah, Palapa, that's what I thought, but he does the door knock thing last time. And I got the text message about, oh, it's the neighbor. Like, the game's not advance. Oh, you know what I did maybe? I didn't go in this room and see that. Or, like, I don't know. Something's not triggering. I think I should have gotten the, it's Paul at the door text, absolutely. Oops. I think I'm just, there's like something missing here. I definitely shouldn't open the door. I should have closed the refrigerator door. I forgot to close the bedroom door when I hid. Okay. Let's try that. Thanks, Max. I love it when I'm terrified and then I have to like figure out a game mechanic.
Go for it.
Thank you for the encouragement, Sage. There we go. There we go. Nope. And then that's the... Then it's gonna be... Thing from Mom. Let's Paul out the door. Go get her, and then I go outside, and then he's there, and then I go hide under my bed again. Go back. Not coming, Paula. I'm not coming. Stop it. No thanks. What? No. That's it?
Go for it. You guys can.
That's it? And the cops are good? Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. No way. Fat chance. Fat chance. I'm sorry. Fat chance that the cops would be good. That they would show up and they would fix the problem. Yeah, right. Come on. When have cops ever solved a problem or helped people? Come on. That's the most hard to believe thing I've played in a video game so far. I've played video games that have all kinds of suspensions of disbelief. And that's the most I've had to suspend my disbelief so far. Thanks for the ACAPs in the chat. Thank you for the 1312s in the chat. But we finished it. We did it. Fake Fears of Fathom. GG, everybody. GG. So yeah, what did the police do? Did they break down the door and then shoot the guy? I mean, and I'm supposed to be happy? I don't understand. All right. Anyway, this was fun. Passion, I would love to. I gotta see your gameplay now. I gotta see what happens there. Okay, we did it. We're about to do We're about to do marbles. It's time for marbles. Everyone's happy. Everyone loves marbles. Go kiss that girl. Thank you, Pax. Alrighty, let's play a couple marbles. What do you say? Alrighty, here we go. Marbles on stream. BRB. I'll be right back. 1 second. All right, I'll see you very soon.